Every system that has ever tried to control you operates the same way. It studies your shape, it maps your edges, it learns your patterns, your triggers, your fixed points. And once it knows exactly where you begin and where you end, it knows precisely how to contain you. The job, the relationship, the criticism, the expectation, none of it can hold what it cannot define. And Law 48 is the last and most important principle in this entire series for one reason. It's the only law that makes all 48 of them work together. Because if you can be defined, you can be defeated. If you can't be defined, you can't be stopped. I'm Chief. Welcome to Chief Logic. 48 Laws of Power. We closed the series on Law 48, Assume Formlessness. Robert Greene did not place this law last by accident. Every law before this one taught you a specific move, how to guard your reputation, how to use absence, how to control the information people have about you, how to enter rooms, exit situations, and protect your energy. Those are all tools. But a tool is only as powerful as the hand holding it. And if the hand holding every tool is rigid, predictable, and easy to read, then every tool eventually gets used against you. Law 48 is not a move. It's a condition. It's the state you have to operate from for every other law to actually protect you. You don't just use formlessness, you become it. And there is a significant difference between the two. Most people try to apply these laws like techniques. They read about controlling their reputation and they perform confidence. They read about strategic absence and they ghost people. They are mimicking the shape of power without understanding the root of it. The root is this: you can't be mapped. The moment someone can fully predict your next move, your reaction, your limits, and your breaking point, the power shifts to them. Formlessness is what keeps that map impossible to complete. Most people spend their entire lives trying to build a reputation, a fixed, solid, recognizable identity that tells the world exactly who they are. And I understand that impulse. There is safety in a label. There is comfort in being known. But here is what that label actually costs you. Once the world knows your exact shape, it knows your exact limits, it knows what offends you, what motivates you, what you will never do, and what you will always do. And everything that knows your limits knows how to use them. The most powerful people in any room are not the ones with the biggest reputation. They are the ones nobody can fully read. Not because they are mysterious for the sake of being mysterious, because they have never stopped evolving. You can't contain what keeps changing. You can't defeat what you cannot define. Think about the people in your life who have been stuck in the same place for years. Not because they lack talent, not because the opportunity was never there, but because somewhere along the way, they fell in love with a version of themselves and refused to let it go. The man who was the star in high school and never built anything after because that was the peak of his identity. The woman who stayed in a dying career for 15 years because changing felt like admitting she was wrong. The entrepreneur who watched the business model collapse, instead of pivoting, defended it because his ego was more invested in being right than in being successful. A fixed identity is comfortable. It tells you who you are every morning when you wake up. It gives you a script. It gives you a role. But that comfort is a cage dressed up as a foundation. Robert Greene points to the great military and historical figures who destroyed themselves through being rigid. Armies that would not adapt to new terrain. Empires that could not respond to shifting conditions. They had more resources, they had more power, more experience, and they still lost. Not because the enemy was stronger, because they were too attached to how they had always done it to see what the moment actually required. You're no different. The version of you that got you to this moment is not the version that takes you to the next one. That's not a criticism, that's just how growth works. The question is whether you are willing to release the old shape before the world forces you to. I want you to think about the last time you said the words, "This is just how I am." That sentence is a surrender dressed up as self-awareness. That is just how I am means I have decided that this version of me is the final version. It means I have stopped being a work in progress and started being a finished product. And a finished product can't grow. It can only age. The most dangerous thing you can do in a world that is constantly shifting is to declare yourself complete. You are not how you are how you have been so far. And the distance between those two statements is where your entire next level lives. Stop defending your current shape. Start asking what shape this moment actually requires. This principle is not philosophical. It's operational. Let me show you exactly where it lives in your daily life. In conflict, formlessness means you don't carry a fixed emotional reaction into every situation. The person who always gets loud when challenged has a fixed form. Everyone around them already knows the move. They know exactly which button to press to throw that person off balance. But the person who can be calm when you expect anger and direct when you expect them to fold, that person can't be played. You can't run a script on someone who keeps changing the scene. In business, formlessness means your income is never dependent on one method, one platform, or one relationship. The market shifts and you shift with it, not in panic, but in preparation. You are not loyal to a strategy. You are loyal to the result. If the path changes, you find the new path without mourning the old one. In your personal development, formlessness means you are willing to be a beginner again as many times as growth requires. The ego hates this. The ego wants to be the one who already knows. But the people who build real lasting power are comfortable being in the student in rooms where they used to be the expert. They learn the new skill. They take the feedback. They evolve publicly without shame. Water does not apologize for changing shape. It just moves. It fills whatever container it enters. And over time, it carves through stone, not by force, by persistence, and by formlessness. Here is the version of this that nobody wants to hear. Your comfort zone is not protecting you. It's just a shape you stop questioning. Every habit that no longer serves you, every relationship that keeps you small, every belief about what you are capable of that you inherited from someone else's opinion, those are fixed forms. And you are carrying them like armor when they are actually the thing slowing you down. Formlessness requires a specific kind of courage, not the courage to fight, the courage to dissolve, to let go of who you have been in order to become what this next chapter requires. The armor has to come off, not because you are weak, because you are ready. And what is waiting on the other side of that release is a version of you that can't be mapped, can't be predicted, and can't be contained. I want to talk directly to whoever is watching this and feeling stuck. Not stuck because nothing is moving. Stuck because something inside you knows it is time to change. And your ego is fighting that change with everything it has. You know what needs to go. You know which identity, which habit, which story you keep telling yourself is the thing holding the ceiling down. You have known for a while. The information is not the problem. The problem is that letting it go feels like losing something. It feels like admitting that who you have been was not enough, and that feeling is the trap. Releasing a fixed form is not an admission of failure. It is the acknowledgement that you have outgrown something. And outgrowing something is not a loss. It's the whole point. The caterpillar does not fail when it dissolves inside the cocoon. That disillusion is the process. The formlessness is not the ending. It is what makes the next form possible. You are not who you were. You don't have to keep performing that version for everyone. Not for the people who knew you before. Not for the critics who already decided what you are capable of. Not even for the version of yourself that got you this far. Let it go. Get fluid. Become something the people who counted you out cannot recognize. The people who never change are not loyal to themselves. They are loyal to their audience. They stay the same because they are afraid of what people watching will say if they evolve. They perform a fixed identity for the comfort of people who were never invested in their growth to begin with. Don't curate yourself for people who do not pay your bills, carry your weight, or add to your life. Evolve on your own timeline. Change when growth demands it. Let the people who need you to stay small be confused by your expansion. You do not owe anyone a version of yourself that you have already outgrown. That is Law 48. That is the close of the 48 Laws of Power series here on Chief Logic. If you have been with me since Law 1, you already know what this series was actually about. It was not about manipulation. It was not about using people. It was about seeing clearly, seeing power for what it actually is, how it moves, who holds it and why, and how to stop being unconsciously subject to it. Every law in this series was a lens. This one was the frame that holds all of the lenses together. Because without formlessness, every other law eventually becomes a cage of its own. Now here is what comes next on this channel. The 48 Laws series was built on someone else's framework. A great framework, but someone else's. What comes next is entirely Chief Logic. Every Monday and every Friday, we go deeper into quotes built around purpose, power, discipline, and self-mastery. Every Wednesday, we work through the Chief Logic codes, original principles built from the ground up for the person who is done being defined by everything outside of them. This is where the real work begins. Subscribe if you haven't done so already, because what is coming is built specifically for the person who is serious about this. Before I close, if you want a companion for this work, my book is on Amazon and Kindle right now. Chief Logic, 50 Quotes for a Life of Purpose and Power. 50 quotes, final thoughts, and journal prompts built for the exact transition this series has been preparing you for. It's not a summary of someone else's ideas. It's the Chief Logic framework in your hands. Link is in the description. If you have been watching this series and something in it has been landing for you, the book is the next step. Here's your closing prompt for the entire series. Not just for this law, for all 48. Write down the one identity you are ready to release. the label, the story, the fixed shape that you have been carrying that this series has shown you is no longer built for where you are going. Write it down, name it, and then write one sentence about what becomes possible the moment you put it down. That is the work that has always been the work. Become water. Stay fluid. Keep building. Think on that. Stay sharp. Stay grounded.